Nammo Phat. Good morning. Thank you for joining me for our daily practice check-in. Listen, listen, listen. This beautiful sound calls us back to our true home. The third mindfulness training. Aware of the suffering caused by sexual misconduct, I vow to cultivate responsibility and learn ways to protect the safety and integrity of individuals, couples, families, and society. I am determined not to engage in sexual relations without love and a long-term commitment. To preserve the happiness of myself and others, I am determined to respect my commitments and the commitments of others. I will do everything in my power to protect children from sexual abuse and to prevent couples and families from being broken by sexual misconduct. This morning we're beginning a new chapter in Ajahn Thanissaro's book, The Karma of Questions. This is Freedom from Fear. An anthropologist once questioned an Alaskan shaman about his tribe's belief system. After putting up with the anthropologist's questions for a while, the shaman finally told him, "Look, we don't believe, we fear." His words have intrigued me ever since I first heard them. I've also been intrigued by the responses I get when I share his words with my friends. Some say that the shaman unconsciously put his finger on the line separating primitive religion from civilized religion. Primitive religion is founded on childish fear, civilized religion on love, trust, and joy. Others maintain that the shaman cut through the pretensions and denials of civilized religion and pointed to the true source of all serious religious life. If we dig down to the assumptions underlying these two responses, we find that the first response views fear itself as our greatest weakness. If we can simply overcome fear, we put ourselves in a position of strength. The second sees fear as the most honest response to our greater weakness in the face of aging, illness, and death. A weakness that can't be overcome with a simple shift in attitude. If we're not in touch with our honest fears, we won't feel motivated to do what's needed to protect ourselves from genuine dangers. So, which attitude toward fear is childish and which is mature? Is there an element of truth in both? If so, how can those elements best be combined? These questions are best answered by rephrasing them. To what extent is fear a useful emotion? To what extent is it not? Does it have a role in the practice that puts an end to fear? The Buddhist answer to these questions is complex. This is due partly to Buddhism's dual roots, both as a civilized and as a wilderness tradition, and also to the complexity of fear itself, even in its most primal forms. Think of a deer at night suddenly caught in a hunter's headlights. It's confused, angry, it senses danger, and that it's weak in the face of the danger. It wants to escape. These 5 elements, confusion, aversion, a sense of danger, a sense of weakness, and a desire to escape, are present to a greater or lesser extent in every fear. The confusion and aversion are the unskillful elements. Even if the deer has many openings to escape from the hunter, its confusion and aversion might cause it to miss them. The same holds true for human beings. The mistakes and evils we commit when finding ourselves weak in the face of danger come from confusion and aversion. Maddeningly, however, there are also evils that we commit out of complacency, when oblivious to actual dangers, the callous things we do when we feel we can get away with them. Thus, the last 3 elements of fear, the perception of weakness, the perception of danger, and the desire to escape it, are needed to avoid the evils coming from complacency. If stripped of confusion and aversion, these 3 elements become a positive quality, heedfulness. something so essential to the practice that the Buddha devoted his last words to it. The dangers of life are real. Our weaknesses are real. If we don't see them clearly, don't take them to heart, and don't try to find a way out, there's no way we can put an end to what causes our fears. Just like the deer, if it's complacent about the hunter's headlights, it's going to end up strapped to the fender for sure. So, to genuinely free the mind from fear, we can't simply deny that there's any reason for fear. We have to overcome the basic cause of fear, the mind's weakness in the face of very real dangers. The elegance of the Buddha's approach to this problem, though, lies in his insight into the confusion, or to use the standard Buddhist term, delusion, that makes fear unskillful. Despite the complexity of fear, delusion is a single factor that in itself is both the mind's prime weakness and its greatest danger. Thus, the Buddha approaches the problem of fear by focusing on delusion, and he attacks delusion in two ways, getting us to think about its dangerous role in making fear unskillful, and to develop inner strengths, leading to the insights that cut through the delusions that make the mind weak. In this way, we not only overcome the factor that makes fear unskillful, we ultimately put the mind in a position where it has no need for fear. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you for joining me this morning.